the best technology may not be the most successful one. We have to understand that. So there are other things beyond the technology. And in information systems, we learn that other things. And then after I graduated from School of Computing, undergraduate degree, I got the offer to be a teaching assistant and to do a PhD degree in information systems in NUS. So that's on scholarship. So I completed my PhD in NUS in information systems, and then I moved to Switzerland. So I got the job as assistant professors in ETH Zurich in Switzerland. And then I worked there for 7 years. Then I moved to UK in Lancaster University as a professor in information systems. And then now I'm in Monash. So that's a brief history of myself. Next. Oh, sorry, I forgot I can. What I would like to share with you is what is information systems and what is business information systems. I mentioned before why I chose information systems, but I just want to know how many of you have heard about information systems before? 1, 2. So only 2 people. 3. Okay, so not that many people know what is information system. So I will start with what is IS and what is IT. If you see this circle here, you will be able to immediately understand that IT is a subset of IS. So IT represents a broad range of technologies. The hardware, the software, the network, infrastructure, those are IT. Sensors, Internet of Things, those are IT. Information systems deals with these systems for delivering information and communication services in an organization or to the society. So obviously, there is a very close relationship between IT and IS. And just for your information, I've worked in different universities. In Singapore, information systems is in computing, School of Computing. In ETH Zurich, information system is not in computing. In UK, in Lancaster University, where I work at, information system is in the business school. In Monash, information system is in Faculty of IT. And the reason is because IT is a subset of IS. And we have to learn the other components of information systems. So then what is business information systems? Who knows what is business information systems? What is the difference between information systems and business information systems? The word business, the additional word business actually give you the clue, right? It's not just for delivering information and communication service to organizations, but at the end of the day, it is to improve decision-making, which then should improve the productivity of the organizations. And when the productivity of the organization is improved, the competitiveness of the organizations should also be improved, may or may not. Any questions up to here? Okay, let me continue. There are 4 components of business information systems. We have the technology, we have the structure, we have the process, and we have the people. And we can split them into 2 subcategories, the social system and the technical system. At most, for The IT part, it may touch on the process, because when you code a program, you have to know the process. But for information systems, we need to also touch the social systems. Process, business process. During COVID, there has been a lot of technologies. And when you reflect on these technologies change the process. Can anybody give me an examples of how a technology change a process? Yes? People, for example? Okay, that change the process, communication with people. What about the other more complex process? Anybody? Yes.
I would assume it would have something to do with database and data management because, well, usually you'd have a central server that's localized, but because of COVID and people being spread all over the world, they had to come up with maybe a new server system or something like that.
For example, customer service. In the past, if you need support, you will probably call or you will go to the counter, and then there is a process following that, right? Now, with technology, they move things towards self-support. And there is also a rise of chatbot. If you go to the website, you want to click on support, the first communications that you have will be with chatbot, not with humans. And then only after certain time, it will be passed on to human. So technology changed the process. It changed the process of you getting user support. It also changed the process of the organizations in providing the customer support to you. Now, look at this example here. So this is an example of a process in an organizations, because in BIS, we look at the process in the organizations. You can see here there are activities. There is the beginning, there is an end. What activity is this? What activity is this? What business process is this? Yeah. Buying goods, just buying? Yeah, it's the entire process of purchasing the goods, receiving the goods, and paying the goods to the vendor, right? How can a technology change this process? This is a sequential process of buying something. It starts with receiving the requirements for the goods or service. Activity 2, create and send purchase order. Activity 3, receive goods. Activity 4, verify invoices. Activity 5, pay the vendor. How can technology change this process? Anybody? If you are asked by a company to optimize this process, what technology will you use and how that technology will change the process? You can think in a simple way. Can you think of anything that can be done here? So imagine this is a company there will be a department in the company, that a business unit in the company that receive the requirements for goods. And then they will have to create and send purchase order to vendors. And then the vendor will deliver the goods. There will be warehouse people receiving the goods, right? And then there will be the accounting people verifying invoices and pay the vendor. How can you optimize this process with technology? And how the technology will change this process? Yes. What's your name? Okay, Gabriel.
You could eliminate the accounting process by making by verifying the invoice straight away with the bank using the internet instead of, having an accountant do it for you.
So you want to automate the payment to the vendor without the accounting to verify the invoice.
Automate that basically. So
okay, now this is a very simple way. It's not exactly the same like what you say, but what you say is also there's a possibility there. Here, the thing here is that everybody access a database. So the purchasing department, when they raise the purchase order to the vendor, they will update the database. The warehouse, when the vendor send the goods and the warehouse receive the goods, the warehouse will update the database. And then the accounts payable will just need to check the database and send payment. This is how you can optimize the process with the technology. And you can further optimize it with the new technology advancement. And that is related with what Gabriel mentioned about the automations. Have you heard about RFID? RFID? Do you know barcode? When you buy something, there is a barcode, right? And then the cashier will scan the barcode. Now, if you go to, I don't know, maybe Uniqlo, you check. It looks like barcode, but it's like there is like a coil there. It's like there's a squarish things, and there's like a tiny chip there. There is a RFID tag. An RFID tag can contain a lot of information. And with the barcode, the salesperson will have to scan, like there's a certain angle to scan. With the RFID tag, you can just push the goods through. It will be read automatically. So imagine if they use RFID, then everything can be automated further. Because then the people in the warehouse, they don't have to check one by one. There will be a gate with the RFID reader. And then when this pallet arrives with the RFID tag, they just have to push it through the gate. Everything will be auto-recorded. This is the latest technology development in supply chain management. RFID tag, and you can check. If you buy something, check. Is it a barcode or is it something like squares, like you can feel something inside? There's a coil, there's a tiny little like chip, there is an RFID tag. And in Uniqlo also, you can check. In Uniqlo in Australia, Uniqlo in Japan, you can, I don't know if in Indonesia, they already implement that because they use RFID tag. You can do a self-checkout. You just need to put all the clothes that you bought in a basket, and then everything will be read. Then you just pay. So that's your homework. Check. Okay, the other component of business information system is the people. So remember, the first is technology, then the process. Process may be changed when they use new technology, and then the people. People meaning the stakeholders, the end users, the managers, or the IT professionals. They may have their skills, they have different attitudes, they may have their own agenda. And they may not like the new technology, right? They may not like it. The warehouse people may not like the RFID. Why? They may lose their job. So people may not like technology, and people may sabotage technology because they don't like it. And this is why I really enjoy studying these information systems, because I study not just the technology, but also the process and then the people. Now, do you know what happened recently with the Hollywood actors strike? Okay, you know.
I just know vague that like a lot of actors went on strike. I don't know much, not deep into the whole social media thing.
Okay, this has something to do with artificial intelligence, AI.
So there were reports that in movies, instead of having actual people voice characters, you could get AI to voice characters, even play characters to perhaps animatronics or robots. And I remember I read a whole article on this, and it was about the fact that they could use the actor's likeness and their voice, but it wouldn't be for the actor. And you could say it's like a one-time purchase of that very actor's voice and acting. So I think it's something regarding that.
Yes, this is something to do with AI, and this is something to do with the so-called deep fakes. So why the Hollywood actors strike? Because the Hollywood companies, they would like to scan the actors' faces, because once they scan the faces with the voice, they can create a movie with the actors without the real actors in. So they went on strike. And recently, they managed to reach a deal. Do you know this actor called Bruce Willis? Do you know him? He's very sick now, and they already scanned his face. And he allowed them to scan his face because that makes him forever, like eternity. But many other actors, they don't like this, so they sabotage it. Last components of BIS is the structure. What is a structure? A structure is the organizational hierarchy. Why technology may change organizational hierarchy? How can technology change the organizational structure? Yeah. What's your name? Abraham.
I think it could actually like shorten the hierarchy, maybe remove the middleman, and maybe shorten the process by which reports make their way to the top of the hierarchy. So I think something of the sort like that. Like basically, it would allow the people at the top to have more governance over their workers, and yet actually reduce the people that are involved in the process.
Yes, and the technology can create transparency. When there is transparency, certain people holding some positions in the organizations may lose their power and influence because everybody else knows the information. So again, because of this, the best technology may not be the most successful one in an organization. Okay. Now, there is a systemic effect. These four components, they affect each other. If you change one of them, you have to also look at the other three. You cannot just simply say, oh, company A, they just bought this new technology. It looks cool. I also want to buy that technology. No. You have to assess first how that technology can potentially affect the process, the structure, and the people. How much resistance you can get from the people if you bring in this technology. How are you going to manage that resistance? Can you manage that resistance? When I was in Switzerland, I was supervising a master project. And this master project is done in a company. The company, they implemented customer relationship management system, CRM system. So they ask the salespeople to input the data of the customers that they call, the deals that they make. Everything should be inputted into that CRM system. And it fails. And when the student started the project, the idea was that maybe the system is not correct. Maybe they should have adopted another CRM system because there are many vendors of CRM system. But then when the students started to interviewing the salespeople and monitoring the behavior of the situations, we discover it is not because of the system. It's because of one person who is the most senior salesperson in the team who basically boycott the system and encourage others not to input data into the system. So there is a systemic effect. If you change one component, the rest may be affected. And you have to be careful before you change. It's always very easy to just buy the system and install in the company. That's the easy part. You have to do a proper planning analysis first before you do that. Otherwise, it's going to be a waste investment. And I have so many examples like that because in my research, I also work with organizations and in companies and know the problems. And a lot of the problems, they come to me and say they think it's about the technology, but then I discover it's not about the technology. You are wasting your time. Okay, now, why do organizations invest in business information systems? There are three possible reasons. The first reason is information is everywhere. And so information is a strategic asset. Information is the oil of the 21st century. And information is whoever has the information, the data, they basically can do a lot of things with the data. In the past, a number of companies, they sell data to other companies. And then they run into problems because of that. Now, they don't sell data to other companies. If I am a company, for example, I'm an e-commerce company, I have all your data. I can sell service to other company. I can tell the other company, for example, is selling diapers, baby diapers. I can say, you pay me, I can do a targeted marketing to those who have baby or going to have baby because I know who they are. So that is why a lot of organizations are investing on business information system because of the information itself. The second reason, sometimes external requirements, for example, the government regulations, mandate the introduction of a new information systems. For example, in a particular country, for a company to be listed in IPO. Do you know what is IPO? Stock market. So for a company to be listed to the stock market, the government mandated the company to have certain information system. For example, ERP system. So there is a regulations. That would be the second reason why they invest in BIS. The third reason, and this is the most often reasons, they invest in BIS to improve their own efficiency, effectiveness, and competitive position. They cannot stay the same. They cannot stay manual. The others are improving. They have to invest in BIS. When I was in UK, I was in this discussion with an organization. It's a big organization. It's a big client organization of many other organizations. And they say that they try to use information systems to connect through their supply chain because then they can be very efficient. And they say that a lot of their small suppliers, very difficult for them to connect to this system. And they have high resistance as well, especially the family business have very high resistance. So I asked, what will you do? And they say, well, we try to give them resources, money to invest on system, to train them. That we already try. And they say some family business, for some families, they convert into system-based and connect to the supply chain system. Some others, they refuse. So I asked, so what will you do to those who refuse? They say, after some time, they will be out from our supply chain. We can find others. So this is another reason why companies invest in BIS. Family business, if you have a big client, then rest assured that technology is here to stay. You will have to open up, invest on technology. Okay. At the same time, there are unintended impact of business information systems. First, it will make people lose certain skills. For example, waitress can be replaced by robots. In Australia, there is a restaurant. You basically use your phone to scan the QR code. You order using your phone. You pay using your phone. And then robots will come to bring the food. So that may cause de-skilling, and then they may also cause a lot of issues. Indonesia has a lot of populations. So the government have to think about with this technology development, which means that the education systems, they will have to teach the students, university have to teach the students about advanced technologies, not the past technologies, because then the skills do not match. BIS can create loss of authority. This I mentioned before. In an organizations, without BIS, a few or maybe one person may have the most power and influence. With BIS, there is a transparency. Everybody has the information. This person may lose the authority. It may be bad, it may be good. It really depends on the context, on the business context. Another unintended impact is the monotonous working environments. And the most important unintended impact is data breach and ethical issues. What is the latest data breach issue in Indonesia? Do you know?
I don't know if there is a more recent one, but I remember that there was a leak of, a leak by a hacker of, you know, information like data of Indonesian citizens on the internet.
Yeah. So, do you know the dark web? You know. Have you been to the dark web? So the dark web is where those hackers sell those data. And of course, with technology, you store data. Data is good for business, but also if the security is not there, then it will be prone to data breach. Now, one day you will have your own business or you work in companies, you have to understand that data breach issue has legal implications. And different countries have different law and regulations. In European Union, if there is a data breach, the company has to inform, like make a press release within 72 hours after they found out there is a data breach. That's the maximum. If they make a press conference, press release like 1 week after, they'll have to pay fine. I'm not sure what's the regulation in Indonesia, but different countries have different regulations. Data breach can lead to legal implications. There is also another unintended impact of BIS, which is ethical issue, which may or may not have legal implications. Yes.
So kind of a longer question relating to ethics and the data breach you mentioned. So previously you mentioned that there are a lot of companies who actually use the data that they have from their clients, and then they provide other services using that data. So the question here is combining all the three issues, data breach, mismanagement of data, and misuse of data when offering privacy. Like there, I think everyone remembers the whole Facebook issue where Facebook was using data from the people that were using the app and then doing things that violated their privacy, like specialized ads or selling the data to other companies. So my question is, what's the ethics of basically managing and mismanaging data?
That's a very good question. Do you have Facebook accounts? All of you have Facebook accounts? You have Instagram? Do you know Instagram and Facebook belong to the same company, right? Meta. Do you have WhatsApp? You know that WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram belong to the same company called Meta, right? When you install all these apps on your phone, did you tick yes to terms and conditions? Did you accept terms and conditions? Yes. Did you read the terms and conditions? No. So you ask about data mismanagement, you will have to read the terms and conditions to be able to know whether it is okay or not okay for them to use your data for marketing purpose. Because you accept terms and conditions, there's no legal obligation for them if that is in the terms and conditions and you accept it and you use the app. Okay, now I can tell you one story. Not really, it's a real thing that happened on Facebook. In Austria, many years back, not many, yeah, some years back, in Austria, there is a law student. This law student went through all the Facebook terms and conditions of data and all that things and mapped it to the EU law and also to what he is experiencing using Facebook. And then he discovered violations in the terms and conditions. So he made a list of the violations. And then he sued Facebook with class lawsuit. Do you know what is class lawsuit? Class lawsuit, basically, he discovered this, he announced it, and then he basically asked other people to join him to sue Facebook together. That is a class lawsuit. So unless you do that, you know, if you want, you can do that. But I think now they already, you know, protect themselves. They obey the EU law on privacy. you can check about this person. At the end, most of us think that he lost the battle. Why? Because the Irish court, you know, Facebook headquarters in Europe is in Ireland, right? So he has to go to the Irish court. So the Irish court say, okay, yes, there is an issue, but this is not a class lawsuit. This is an individual lawsuit, which means that if 10,000 people sign to basically the petitions to sue Facebook, they cannot sue Facebook together. So that's the result. That's the result. Yes, you have questions.
Not a question, but like, there should be laws against that stuff. No, they're basically manipulating the system to protect themselves.
Well, you cannot say they manipulate systems, right? We cannot say that. They went to court. They went to the Irish court. And basically that's the output. Okay, any other questions? Any other people want to raise something? So all that are the unintended impact of BIS. But then you have to reflect also, if you are a company, if you are the owner of Meta, you offer these services for free. You have to make money, right? There's no free lunch. So that's the reality. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the Faculty of IT. Can we play the video, please?
Just imagine creating a virtual world that people can feel, building new tools to help the vision impaired learn, constructing a car that can drive, park, and charge itself, developing a surgical robot that can save precious lives. The potential of technology is incredible. IT lies at the heart of our world, advancing almost every industry, from healthcare and finance to entertainment and travel. And it's transforming the way we live, work, and interact. So just imagine all the exciting things you could achieve with the skills to harness technology. And let Monash, a university in the top 4% worldwide, pave the path to get you there. Technology is for everyone, so get ready to discover a rewarding future in IT. Just imagine,
So technology is everywhere. And actually, as an information systems researcher, I feel that Faculty of IT is home for me, because then I interact with a lot of other researchers who are developing a lot of new things. And then I basically investigate the user behavior, impact on process, etc., etc. There are a lot of career opportunities in IT across variety of industries and business sectors. Big data is a must-have skill in IT. Climate modeling or modeling, forecasting. There could be a career on security, cyber security, IT in health and medicine. In the Faculty of IT in Monash, in my group, Digital Transformation Group, we have this digital health, and we have artificial intelligence for medical diagnostic. Another cool career is games. And there is also another word called gamification. You gamify a serious applications to make it fun to use. It's not really a game, but you gamify it. Website design, business information system analyst. I am teaching in the master program in Monash and in the BIS, Business Information System Master Program. And I can see that actually the students who came there, when I asked them, what career do you have in mind? They say analyst. Why? Because the big data, you process the data, you got the results, somebody has to interpret the results to be business decisions. So that's the analyst job. Another job is to develop software integral to controlling flight paths over major world cities, etc., etc. It's about control software. And a lot of, and all these companies here, application here that I put, they have give a lot of opportunities for career, including you can see McKinsey, BCG, Accenture. They are all consulting companies, but they need to have technology specialists. So this is the future of IT according to the trends in the jobs, and the jobs in technology will increase by 11% by 2028. Money is there. You want me to go back to the money slide? So you can see this is the average salary of IT graduate salary, IT jobs in Australia. You can take a look at the slides. In fact, my husband is in IT, in the industry. He's not a researcher like me. And then when we moved to Melbourne, he has a lot of jobs opportunities. So undergraduate degrees, there are 2, Bachelor of IT, Bachelor of Computer Science, but there are also different majors under each of them. This is the Bachelor of IT. You can major in BIS, major in Computer Networks and Security, Games and Immersive Media, or Software Development. And you can choose a second major or 1 or 2 minor or electives. So there's a flexibility. You can have, for example, a major in, I don't know, security and a minor in BIS. So you can choose from 13 minors in your Bachelor of IT degree. And if you are interested into algorithms, programming languages, data structures, data science, that is the Bachelor of Computer Science. The requirements to get into the Bachelor of Computer Science is higher than the Bachelor of IT. Any questions to me? If I cannot answer your question, I'm sure other people here can answer your questions about this. No? And double degree. This is actually something that I wish I had when I was doing my undergraduate degree, because my dream when I was in school, before I go to university, I actually would like to be an accountant. And then I got the scholarship in computing. But I had no options to take double degree. So in Monash, you have the options to take double degree. You can have a double degree, for example, from the IT, any of the IT major with business or with commerce or with criminology or with design. So those are the, to me, it's a cool options, which I didn't have when I was doing my undergraduate degree. And this is also something that I didn't have, but Monash has. It's industry-based learning. is a 6 months placement at a leading global or Australian industry partner. It's the chance to learn outside of the classroom in the industry, in the real business. And this is a great employment outcome for the IBL students. Why? Because actually these companies are testing you. Instead of just interviewing their potential employees, when you do internship with them, they have 6 months to see whether they would like to employ you, right? So it opened up a lot of job opportunities. 90% get employment offers before graduation. You may think, I'm not sure, I don't know. Actually, I do not know what I want to study. Do I want to study IT? If I want to study IT, what major will I take? Do I want to take double major? Do I want to take minor and major? I don't know. Well, you can find your fit to take the quiz and find your fit. And if you're still confused, there is a one-on-one course advice session. Talk to people. Again, this is your privilege, which I didn't have when I was doing my undergraduate. I was given something. Take it or leave it, basically. Thank you. That's the end of my presentation. Any questions? You can clap if you want to clap. Yes.
Hi, Juliana. It's Junaid here. I'm actually a faculty member here as well, and I've got my son and my nephews are here as well. I've got a couple of questions for you, which I think would be the questions from most of our students. It's only if I would have told them that they would have got class participation marks, then I think they would have asked you more questions. But as I didn't mention that to them, so maybe they didn't ask you questions. So let me ask you a couple of questions that I noted down. So the first one is, does Monash allows ChatGPT to be used in the bachelor's and the master's program?
The rules for ChatGPT is up to the chief examiner. So every unit has a CE. So I'm a CE. I have assignments and I decide whether I allow the students to use ChatGPT or they cannot use ChatGPT. And I have to make it very clear in the course description, the assignment description. When you submit the assignments, the students will know that. Now, for me, personally, if the assignments is about individual personal reflections, then there's no point to use ChatGPT. ChatGPT cannot reflect your personal experience on certain topics. I allow my students to use ChatGPT for the assignments regarding topic, for example, RFID in supply chain management. You can use ChatGPT, but you have to put that in the references, what prompts you use. But that is individual CE decides, not like a blanket rules.
Right, got that. All right. The second question is about, you mentioned earlier about the big data or the data science. Does that fall under BIS, Business Information System, or does that fall under the computer systems?
There is
Computer
a
science.
specific major on that. Let me go here. Yes, you can see here in computer science, bachelor in computer science, there is the data science.
Yeah.
So that's the specific things. But like I say, right, if there is an opportunity and if there is interest, people would like to learn more than one thing. So they can do a double degree or they do a major in data science and a minor in BIS, for example, just an example.
Right, exactly. I personally would like to recommend our students to go for double degree. I agree with what you were saying. And I can echo that is also because I have a double master's. I've got a master's in business and I've got a master's in computer science. And I know how useful that degree has been for me. So definitely it's going to help our students as well. So I highly recommend all the students here, if possible, try to go for double degree. All right. So the question, another one related to the double.
Maybe before you ask the question, I also forgot to say, in Australia, in the university in Australia, Monash is the only one that has faculty of IT.
Good.
For the other universities, do you know where their IT is? In engineering.
Yeah.
So that's the difference. That's why we can have this suite for you, tailored only for IT.
So the next question, which is again related to the double degree, is from my understanding, I think Monash offers a double degree program, and it is a 4 years program compared to a normal conventional 3 years program. Does that reduce the time for the students to complete their masters? So after the double degree, the masters would be for 1 year. Is that correct?
Nico can answer that question.
Hi, Nico.
Hello. Hello, good afternoon. I'm from the Central Student Recruitment Office. When you do double degree, then you continue your master, then it depends, the duration of master can be 1 year, 1.5 or 2 years, depend what master are you continuing. If you taking the same cognate degree, yes, it will be shorter. But if you suddenly taking master, you change your life, let's say from Bachelor of IT, then you do Master International Relation, then you need to do 2 years. But if you continue for the same study area, yes, it will be either 1 year, 1.5, or 1.5. And yes, just to mention, just remember, Professor remind us that Monash is the only faculty IT, as well as please do remember what we call post-study work visa. Australian government now very open to IT graduates, and if you search the list of post-study work visa, Monash courses listed as a Bachelor of IT, as well as Bachelor of Computer Science. Post-study work visa in other study area, yes, quite a lot, but in other university, you need to complete up to master. With Monash, if you only complete Bachelor of IT or Bachelor of Computer Science, it is recognized by the government because the course within faculty IT approved by Australia Computing Society. It's accreditation bodies that accredited this kind of courses. So something to consider. Post-study work visa is normally, now they double it. If you study 2 years, courses that listed in post-study work visa, they double it from 2 to become 4 years. So what study area Australian government looking at this moment? IT related courses, engineering, health related like nursing, pharmacy. So that's a lot. But the most important with Monash, because it is listed in there, and you don't need to complete up to master, Bachelor of IT, Bachelor of Computer Science. You already listed, approved as a post-study work visa skill that they are looking for. Any other question? Yes, sure.
Okay.
It's very hard to get the professor here. Ask her.
So thank you very much for your time as well. It's just that related again, one of the questions that the students normally ask me as the faculty of IT here is, should I do masters after I complete my bachelor's program? And when should I do my masters? That's a typical question that the students ask me. So I would like to hear it from your side. How would you suggest the students to proceed?
Okay, first of all, I didn't have master degree. For me, I continue direct from undergraduate to PhD degree. But that doesn't, and I don't have working experience outside of the academy. But that doesn't make me lose touch with the industry, because in my research, I worked with the industry. Now, to answer to your questions, I think this is just my personal opinion. Because in undergraduate, there is an IBL. There is an industry-based learning. So if the students feels like, okay, I would like to pursue more in depth into something to a master's degree, then I find a job. I think, to me, I think that's okay because they do already have exposure with the IBL. But of course, if the students would like to go to the industry first to work, to get even more experience, and then do a master's degree on something that they would like to specialize in, there's also a possibility. That really depends on the individual students and the circumstances. Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
One of the questions I'm pretty sure some people would definitely have is it necessary to do a master's in computer science or information technology when you already have a bachelor's and you've already started working?
Yes, you definitely will learn something more in that. There are a lot of things in technology, and there's just so little time to teach in the undergraduate. In the master degree, they will basically scale it up, and then you will learn something in depth, much more specialized, much more in depth. Yes.
So in your presentation, you showed us that there were a lot of minor subjects that you could take in the bachelor's of IT. Now, if you were a bachelor of computer science student, would you be able to still take some of those minors?
One major, 8 subject, one minor, 4 subject. And then there are some component elective, meaning that free interest subject.
So basically, in the Bachelor of Computer Science, you can still take minors.
Yes.
Same. Yes.
In game programming?
Normally, if they take computer science, then games can be as a minor, yeah. So, yeah. The other question, Professor, lot of in the exhibition, should I do data science under IT, or should I do business analytics under business school? Both are playing the same data.
Okay, I have to show this. Data science in IT and Bachelor of Computer Science. They will require knowledge of statistics, mathematics, programming. Yes, both are dealing with data, but in the computer science, there is a difference between data science and business analyst. And actually, I already also answered this question when I mentioned there is a career which is an analyst career. And there is a career which is on the big data side. And these two are different. These two are different. In the data science, it really drill all into the data mining and all that. I think this analyst is more, you can correct me if I'm wrong, because I do not really know the undergraduate in the business school. But in my opinion, in the business analyst is basically touch the data, is touch the surface of the data. Maybe they do statistical analysis of the data, but in this UG in data science, they drill into the data.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Any other question, IT related or considering business or IT? Yes.
Thank you, Professor. I have a question related to fintech. Okay. If we study computer science, is it better to get a double degree? Like, I don't know, maybe combined with commerce, or better complete the bachelor degree and get a master in fintech? So which one is better?
I don't know which one is better, to be honest. I think it also depends on your goals. What is the goal? Because, for example, fintech in business information systems, I do teach fintech as well. It really depends on what angle are you looking at. Because fintech, you can go more into the technology and a touch of this business, or you go more into the business models and the other things? So I'm not sure whether I can answer that question, which one is better. It depends on what you want to learn, what you want to achieve at the end of the day.
Maybe you can help to explore more about fintech.
Okay. So, you know, in Indonesia, there is an online bank, right? Bank that has no physical presence. That is considered as fintech. Your mobile banking is fintech. Another type of fintech is, do you know blockchain? You don't know blockchain. Do you know Bitcoin? Okay. Bitcoin is digital currency. They also have Ethereum, and they have other digital currency. That's part of fintech. Blockchain is the underlying technology of the digital currencies. The difference is blockchain is there is no central node. Bank has a central node. You transfer money to somebody, it has to go through the bank, right? If you have Bitcoin, you want to transfer money to another person, is using blockchain. It's a distributed ledger. Every nodes, everybody in the blockchain, they can see that you transfer money to him, but of course it's encrypted. Do you want to study that? That's the question. If you want to study that in depth, maybe IT is the place to study that. Any other questions? Yeah.
The parent has asked. Actually, your question is a very good question. It's about the fintech. If with all due respect, Prof, if I can answer on your behalf, because I think because I have a master's in computer science and a master's in business economics, if you ask me that question, I'll definitely recommend you to go for a double degree. One of the major specializing in computer science or IT, and the other one in business. That will be a good combination rather than doing a business and then going for a master's of, let's say, business. So I personally recommend taking a double degree, because then at the same time, you get the flavor of both the IT and the business. That's what I would recommend, Prof. Thank you.
Yeah.
One last quick question, Prof, is why doesn't Monash offer artificial intelligence under the undergraduate level? I understand you guys do have a program of artificial intelligence in the master's program, but not in the undergraduate.
It doesn't mean that there is no unit teaching the undergraduate students artificial intelligence. It means that before students go in depth into AI, they need to learn other things. For example, data science. AI basically read data. So you need to know in depth on that before you go further into AI. That's the base. You cannot just jump into AI. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof.
Any other question? If there's no other questions, then thank you for listening to me. I hope I didn't bore you. And I hope that it is whatever that I say today is helpful for you and for your future. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor, for your time. And thank you so much, students and parents. Please, before you leave, don't forget we have some snacks at the back. Okay. And if you have any questions later on, you can ask our counselor. Okay. Thank you and have a good day. And buat yang nonton Coldplay, have fun.